Today has been a challenge. I'm not going to call it a bad day. It's been a challenging day. No matter how good I get at this, there's always something eventually, even if it's not this week or next week. The week after that, you're going to get thrown off your rocker. Something is going to take you out of center. And remembering not to blame whatever happens, but to take personal responsibility for allowing ourselves to be knocked off center. Maybe if I change the way I think about it. Maybe it's not about getting to this place where nothing can upset you, but living in a place where if something does upset you, you're not going to let it go to your head and make a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be. I'm always at my best when I'm uncomfortable. There obviously is something to be said for having things the way you want them. And I wouldn't say the goal is to be uncomfortable. But I guess just through repetition, when things get challenging, that's when I really show up for myself. I think for me personally, it's been feeling so overwhelmed for so long that anytime I get the calm waters that I'm looking for, I end up atrophying and falling out of my best state of being, because it's finally a chance for me to just fucking let it be. And who could blame me? But there's something there, right? There's something in meeting the challenge head on and rising to the occasion, rather than existing in a place where we demand comfort in order to feel okay, in order to, I'm not at my best right now and it's okay because fill in the blank, right? And I'm not saying it's easy, but it's better. It's better to live in a place, in a state of being where it doesn't matter so much what's happening on the outside. If I can be who I really want to be and keep that space, That's really the goal. More so than getting your life to a place where it's like, okay, now I can be happy. Now I can be myself. Now I can XYZ. It's not necessarily more worth it because it's difficult, because I feel like that's a way we measure things sometimes that can be inefficient, counterproductive. I mean, you do want balance, you know? Take it from me, if you're homeless and your life really isn't where, the outside is miles and miles away from where you want it to be. But yes, of course, you want your life to be in a better place, and you're not going to stop until you get there. But what do I mean by stop, really, when I say that? You're not going to relax. You're not going to rest until you get there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, in a way, the illusion that we live in, lots of times, I know for myself, I wouldn't have gone through like a quarter of the growth that I've had in my life if I hadn't been motivated the whole time by, I need to get my life into a good place, a peaceful place where I can be happy, where I can be happy, and by happy I mean satisfied with my outer circumstances. And at 30, I almost said 32, I'm 34 now. I still haven't got there. But what I can be thankful for is all the growth that I've gone through because of that. I wouldn't be a quarter of the person that I am now if I hadn't been struggling year after year after year after year after year after year after year. Stop me when I get to 34. From from being 3 years old and becoming fully conscious, coming online and having to take care of myself my whole life, putting the needs of others before my own needs. If not for all that suffering, I couldn't be here presenting myself in this way that I do so enjoy when I get to do this, when I get to take what I've learned and deliver it to anybody who's willing to listen. And thank you for listening. Shout out Speedy. If I can give any advice, if anyone would like any, serve humanity. Serve the people around you. If the people around you aren't behaving in a way that meets what you feel you need from them, see if you can take it upon yourself to help to meet a need that they might need, even if they realize it or not. Keep in mind that hurt people hurt people. If there's someone in your world who is hurting you, if you can, hold a place in your heart for them. And it's not always easy. But just to remember that everybody on earth is, there's always a challenge. Sometimes the challenge can be having no challenge. Sometimes the challenge is, coming from a place of struggle and suffering for so long, and all of a sudden you're in a place where there isn't any struggle coming from the outside. Then your challenge is, well, how do I exist in this peace that I've never known before? And due to, fear of failure, fear of loss, a lot of times the scariest thing to us is the time of peace. Because it's like, well, this is gonna last for a few days and then I'll be back in the shit anyway, so but that's just a negative belief that we don't need to hang on to for any longer than that's one that I think it would behoove anybody to let go as soon as you can. That's what negative beliefs do. They convince us that, well, if you get rid of this negativity, something worse is going to come in. And you might even prove that to yourself, because we're all manifesting our own lives. So if you believe that, if you buy into that, it is going to happen. Trust and believe. And I think we take it as a challenge sometimes, or at least our negative ego does, where it's like, oh, you think I'm okay? Oh, you think I can have a good life? Let me show you what's up. I know I've got caught up in that big time. People try to tell me it's okay, and I just go, oh, you think so, do you? You think it's okay? I'll show you okay, right? You think I can't self-sabotage myself? Watch this. Watch me put myself through homelessness for the bajillionth time, it seems. We can become so married to our own suffering because at least we can always count on that, right? if I can just be okay with suffering and make a home there, you know, I don't need real life. I have endless amount of YouTube videos to watch. I have video games that I can escape into. Am I really enjoying myself? Kind of sometimes. I'm mostly just filling time. For me personally, I think since I've been a kid, I I just gave up on feeling good. I think I was let down to the point where I just decided, I guess the happiness is gone. And if I can really be honest with myself, I think more so than that, what it was going, just the example I have in my head is, my biological dad is going to not show up for me again. Well, that really bums me out, so I'm going to show him how bummed out I am. My mom's yelling at me again and making me feel so terrible about myself. Well, now I'm going to show you just how terrible I can feel. It's giving up on yourself. It's throwing in the towel and going, okay, you want me to feel like this? You got it. I'm going to punish you with my lack of joy. And how that works for the better, I have no idea. But hurt people hurt people. And we don't just hurt others, we hurt ourselves. Myself in my personal life today, I'm really taking accountability for being a hurt person, hurting other people. Have I been malicious? Nope. Have I been consciously trying to hurt anybody? No. But have I been hurting people? Yep. I hurt people by not being who I really am. Am I out there starting fights? No. But by not showing up authentically as who I really am, I'm selling myself short. I'm selling everyone in the world short. We're all connected. We're all in this together. By me hiding my joy away to protect it, keep it safe. I'm only doing what I didn't want other people to do to me anyway. I'm killing my own joy. You know? How am I going to share my joy if it's hidden away? I can't. And maybe you can relate to this and maybe you can't. But I hope this serves you in some way. If you've been here to listen to my ramble, thank you. It means a lot to me. Thank you for giving me someone to show up for. I love you.